Hi, Guy. Today I thought we'd have a look back at the whole Nintendo VC console and basically what a disaster it's been. I mean, the one thing that brought this to mind, especially recently, was Retronauts were doing one of their look backs, and they were basically saying, which surprised me because I listened to it at the time. It's been 10 years since they did a special episode on it, and then they were talking about it, and I remember the excitement and the whole idea that Nintendo was basically producing a library of retro games, and all these companies would be able to stick stuff on, and you'd be able to buy them really really cheap, like um Apple Store type prices, maybe 99 pence or 50, whatever it was, 40, 69 pence a ROM, that sort of a price. And then as time slowly went on, and I think people started to realize the releasing, maybe it was 4 or 5 titles at first. I think it was quite a few in the first few months, and then that petered off to being monthly. And then towards after about 2010, because that's when something big happened, it just dropped off, and it became next, and it became a joke, really. I mean, I remember seeing a big thing on IGN, and it must have been around about 2010. The Wii was still it's in its last legs, I think, and they were looking forward to the Wii U. They'd not really announced it at that point, but they were coming towards it, and everybody knew that. We'd had a good few years of the Wii, and it had Iwata appearing at like a share trader show, and it was showing off figures and the amount of money they were making. And I vaguely remember, I was stuck in my mind, but they made $110 million off the back of the VC console just for the stuff they put out, and not the stuff they programmed or done anything special, just these older games. And I think that was a year, so they were making a lot of cash off that. And then for some reason, I remember him saying at the time, the VC, it's not our focus, and they moved away from it, and they just let it tail off, and that money will have just dropped and dropped and dropped because nobody was propping that up anymore. No one was providing the content. I mean, I can remember when Sega first arrived, and they were doing loads of extra, really really good games on there. Released a lot of the back catalogue and TurboGrafx titles, or PC Engine. There was Game Gear, stuff like that. There was money to be made, and then they just, they didn't care. They let it off. One thing that always stuck out in mind, they did like I can't remember, it was like a Japanese summer event, and they did a special thing where they released these Japanese only game, and it was completely over the month of summer. And I think you maybe got 10 games a week, or it might have been over the extra over the month, and you could choose to download them. And they were always, I'm not sure if they'd been translated or what, but it was something special at the time across several systems, and it was a really great event. And I don't know if it must have been a complete failure because they never did it again. It just became this boring release games whenever. I mean, when the 3DS and that came out, and for me, I remember the excitement was, oh well, the VC console will have access to that. Maybe they'll start getting their act together, because what we need as a system, it needs to be a library. I mean, you need to have lots and lots and lots and lots of titles available, just so you can pick and choose as many as you want. I mean, hell, they could have just dumped God knows how many ROMs, made sure they were all working and stuff through testing that, because it's not going to be that complicated. Because initially, when they build the systems, they're effectively building an emulator within the system, and it's just a matter of it running a ROM. That's all there's going to. And there's going to be some things like licensing. Like I know Earthbound was always an issue because of some of the music later on in the game and stuff, and some of the imaging that appeared. But again, a lot of these retro games from like the 80s, early 90s, there wasn't much to them. They could have done something special, but they just let it go. Uh, anyway, it was always one of the most annoying things I saw, because as I said, I mean, I wanted so much on that 3DS. I mean, just the chance to be able, I would have happily, the suggesting it now with the Switch tab like this seems to be like a rental system. They'll give you 1 or 2 games every month, but why not dump a library of games on there? People can say whatever, £5, £10 a month, and then they can dip in and out, a bit like PSN's done with the PS3 and the PS2 titles, I believe. and you can pick a library. You can play them games. If you cancel your subscription, you lose access to it. But that's why people. It's a subscription service, isn't it? It gives people to all these access to all these older games. It gets people talking about it. I mean, I'd love to have that, something like an official Nintendo product in my pocket. I can pull out, play lots of games. I'll admit, I mean, that's what I wanted. I ended up buying a GPD XD, and I've loaded that to the high heavens with ROMs. But I'd be quite happy to buy something official like from Nintendo. I mean, I did to a degree with the whole Vita. My Vita's not hacked. I use the PSN because I love the PlayStation Store just because of the access it gives me to the older PlayStation games. But there's nothing like that on Nintendo. I think over its lifetime, just as a quick example, the NES ROMs, I think they released maybe 300 over the VC's lifetime on the Wii. And if you think about it, over about 7 years, that's not a lot of titles. And you've got things included like, I think they did like baseball. I mean, for God's sakes, baseball, one of the original launch titles, which was absolutely terrible. I can't remember the name of it now. The one with the guy walking down the street, and then it's an NES game, and then like the woman's throwing plant pots out of it. Is it Urban Brawl or Urban Street Fight? It just, the names escape me at the moment, I'm afraid. But I mean, they keep sticking that and re-releasing it. I think they did a 3D edition on the 3DS recently. Now, that's a terrible game. It was terrible back then. It's terrible, it's terrible now. How do you think something like that is going to convince people to start investing more in retro games? But then it adds to this negativity for them as a business because they think, well, if people don't want garbage, well, so to them they think it's a good game, but it's clearly not. Nobody, nobody liked it. Nobody wants stuff like we need. You need more stuff. But I mean, this is the other thing. They never pushed the VC. They never did anything special with it. It's one of the biggest retro gaming disappointments. And now the Switch has come along now, but from all the announcements they've been doing and all the talks, I've not seen anything which is exciting me about. I honestly do not think they're going to do anything special. I think it's going to be very, very similar to the 3DS style model, and what we've got now, you get next to nothing. There's already been talk on the Switch that they're dropping the Miiverse side, which is quite a nice feature if you loved it. Quite funny forums with them with the odd Mii's on. But if they're dropping that, the VC's not far behind. Yes, they'll do something to some degree, but they seem to have this weird thing where they'll re-release old crappy NES ROMs, and some of them are terrible, and then charge an absolute fortune for them. And I suppose like up till 2010 it was working to a degree because people were paying for them. But they should be putting more focus on the bigger, the better games, pushing them more. I mean, Microsoft used to do it years ago where they had this like an Xbox show. I think it was once a week or once every couple of weeks where they a couple of crazy guys on talk about the latest games or the latest like Xbox arcade releases, and they had a full segment based on that, and they were pushing it, and it was. I watched it. It wasn't the best of shows, but it was entertaining because it was a freebie on that console. It would not take Nintendo very much. I mean, they could even get YouTube celebrities. I mean, I'm not talking about people like me, but there'd be some out there who'd be quite happy to get involved, set up a small studio somewhere, have them out, have them talking about your latest releases and pushing it, and then stick that out onto like the store channel. Drop all these models and these fake people that you've got doing the presentations. Try and get more realistic people and push it as a service and stuff like that. I see. I'm getting quite angry now. That's the problem. It's been such a missed opportunity. They had the chance to do so much, and they could still do it. I mean, I would love the fact that the Switch will be quite powerful, so you'll be able to emulate everything going backwards. I mean, I think the Wii U can even emulate GameCube games. I think somebody hacked that, so it's possible. But the fact is, the systems are more than powerful enough to hack their older stuff, and it can do other systems, as they've proven already. So I'm sure if you started doing that, it could do more specials. do special weekends. I have voting sessions where like fans could pick what they wanted, and so just anything that's more than what we've got. Anyway, guys, what did you think of the whole VC console and what they've done to it? I mean, start in the comments below because I'm actually interested. Because I can only go off my own sole experience, But I mean, I expected a lot more. I wasn't happy, but at the same time, was anybody here happy? Did you actually get on it? As always, guys, thanks for watching and listening, and please look forward to another video soon.